Cool. So here we have a recording of a game between the Charlotte's 49ers and the Texas Amble Agricultures, which is Bullroarer 4 against Bazakastine. I'm just going to turn the pitch off because that makes it harder to see, so no team logos. So this is something a bit different to what I usually do, so slightly higher TV, so we've got quite a few skills. I won't run through all of them, but they're basically developed teams. And it's a game that someone asked me to have a look at to see if there's anything that anyone could do to improve or anything that I would have done differently. So we've got humans against Bretonians. We got some dodge. All four blitzers have dodge and this sidestep going on. So there's all sorts of exciting skills happening here. Let's see how that affects the game basically. So who won the toss? So Bullroarer chose heads and chose to kick, which is fairly standard, decent decision to make. And so we'll just wander through the game and see what happens here. Perfect defense, so harder to get those hits in on the first turn. Let's speed it up a wee bit. So who's on the ball? So we've got a tackle, wrestle and guard, catcher on the ball. Yeah, wrestle's an interesting one. Because I think he caught it, didn't he? So obviously I traditionally wouldn't want a wrestle on the ball carrier. So much of a cage going on here. So in terms of this, you could easily knock away this player, although he's a blodger, so he could go there and form up the cage. But you are risking a knockout there, and then it's a 4-up dodge in. He's probably got an agility 4 player around somewhere. And all agility. Oh no, he has got. Yeah, so he's got Bogalante, but he hasn't got any agility 4 players dodging into the cage at this stage. So that's not a bad cage, but can get in the way of it. So he's got these 4 players here are a bit more out of the game than you might want. So he's pushed forward quite fast on that one. So this is interesting. So he's completely allowing him to move down. So that was the hit he took. So he's completely allowing him to move down that side. So let's see what's going to happen there. So is our red going to take that basically? Our red going to move forward down the sideline. Obviously going to need to blitz away there. So the reason this player was put in was to avoid the sidestepping blitzer going to there, which would have made life complicated. So the blitzer's going to get hit in a minute, I think. Oh, no. Right, okay. So he handed off straight away to the catcher. Interesting. So it's going to be interesting to see if Red can actually firm this up. I suppose he's got all these players to move in. So he's going to make a sort of... so he is still hitting him, but he did the handoff first. Interesting. Okay. So one other option there, I suppose, would have been to hit the blitzer first, because he didn't need to hand off, although I guess he wanted to hand off to Sharon in order to score. Leave that scoring there. So now Blue are going to get in the way. I'm surprised Blue didn't get in the way the first time, to be honest. Right, let's play her off the pitch. It's a sort of change of tactics almost by Blue, so moving from allowing the run through to actually cutting off. Players leaving the pitch now for Red, which is making life a bit more complicated. So Red had the choice on the previous turn, basically, of moving down, but with only a handful of players, which I guess is why he stayed there, to allow the rest of his team to catch up. No, he's having to go backwards now. Oh, that's a good hit. Ah, it's a foul. Brilliant. Excellent. Well done. Good foul. Yeah. All right, and that was just to get free with that lineman instead of getting hit. I don't think I'd have done that. I don't think I'd have just left the red player there. Not very likely chance of getting free, basically. So Blue are getting in the way now. Very much so. So they've got Red down quite a few players. And Blue have always, because they've got Bogalant on their team, They've always got the chance of the one turner. So there's that in the back of his mind as well. God, blue players are leaving the pitch as well now. Ow, 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 ow. Now this is really interesting. Just lots of hits. Wow, just look at all these players leaving the pitch. That's amazing. So still got an eye on the one turner from blue. Don't think I'd have stood Bobby up there. Could have quite happily just stayed down, but maybe the stand firm will keep him alive. I think with the players, there's another one left the pitch. With all the players leaving the pitch and the red propensity for fouling as well. Is this a frenzy piece? No. No, sidestep anyway. Right, so the question here is red going to be able to get through the sort of thin blue line? Red hasn't got huge amounts of players, and blue hasn't got very many at all. So there's a risk here. It's only a lineman. There is the risk, obviously, of the handoff to lineman and then the score. 3 rerolls left each, so definitely a possibility there. Alright, managed to get the sidestepping and the stun was huge there, so managed to run forward. Alright, is this going to be able to get safe is the question. So we've got Bogalant next to this piece, so he could easily be knocked back, which would mean that the catcher was available. Then they're slightly running out of players to be able to firm that up. So that's basically a knock in there, and then has he got any strength 4? No. It's interesting. So I think he could take. He doesn't need strength 4 because he's got. Now that's only. He hasn't got a block on this piece, so I think this catch is going to get hit now. Let's have a look. So that's interesting. So he's going around the outside there. Could he have got in this way? Possibly not, because of there's a guard in there. Okay. Okay, interesting. Right, and gets the tackle down there. So let's look back at what red could have done a bit better on that one. So this was the problematic turn here. Can't help thinking that sort of in space over here would have been quite nice, really. So could have taken down Seth. Lance was already there, and could have easily made a big, because the catcher only needs to be about there to be able to score. There's so few blue pieces available. Still got the reroll available so that James Woodward could have freed up. So I think I would have gone this way. Well, obviously with hindsight, but you just haven't got very much room over there. Now why, and the question there was, why did he run out of players? Right, so that was a problematic player because that one wasn't doing anything. So the problem there was, so Brendan went in for the assist, whereas actually, because he had so few players to protect, getting Brendan down there somewhere and then bringing the catch around to something like here would have been better. And then he could have even dodged out James Woodward to perform the extra load of numbers on there. So that's obviously with the benefit of hindsight, but so he's in trouble there. Oh, blimey. So the red catcher caught the ball. So Bo hit Solomon there instead of hitting this player. I guess because he didn't want to push him out. Must have been that, yeah. So he didn't want to push him. So sometimes it's better not to hit people because here, basically, he's trapped. He can get out on a 4+, load of tackle, but he's got rerolls, so he can get out on a 4+ than a 3+, which I guess is what he's going to hope to keep him towards. That was good. So could blue have avoided that? So that was a decent play by red, just obviously going for the chain push to get him out. Needed the reroll to do it. then dodges out, and yeah, only gives him the 1 turn to score back. So it looks like he's got away with that, or is Beau Gallant going to come and do... Is he going to be able to stop him? Yeah, okay, interesting. And sidestep obviously on Beau as well. Yeah, just gets the 4-up dodge in. Or was it for 3-up dodge, I think, wasn't it? Was it 3-up? No, it was a 4-up. Okay, needed the dodge. Now, interesting. So, what have we got here? We've got 2 tackle players down here, yeah, and 2 tackle players up here as well. Oh, no tackle there. Right, so there's no tackle there, so that's the route for Beau Gallant to run down. And tackle there as well. So not quite enough tackle to cover the whole lot anyway, so... yeah, just a wee bit shorter players. So blue looking for a 1-turn touchdown here. So we've got Beau in there, so we've got a player to come round here, blitz this player into him, sidestep forward, and then run through. No throws on the Bretonian team, obviously. Yep, so that was all working nicely. Oh, well, that was unfortunate. So he's going for the throw and then the handoff, basically. So got away with that. Always a risk, obviously, with Beau. Right, a little bit of punching here. No one died on the red side after the carnage from the first half. Must be a blessed relief. And then we get more of that. I suppose there's no frenzy on this team. I like frenzy. I just haven't seen any at all. Right, so red are 1-0 up. So the question is, are blue going for the score? So we've got a red, so we're looking for the sort of column defense here, where you're sort of staying away and just stopping blue from advancing, which is solid play. And yeah, obviously made more difficult if lots of your players leave the pitch. Oops, let me do that. There we go. Yeah, so not very much, not huge amounts happening here. Let's zoom on a bit. So red just taking the hits and seeing it's a sort of a attrition thing going on, really. And then moving slowly up. Obviously, Beau on the ball. I don't like Qatar players having the ball. They hog the star player points. But I suppose once you get your team to a certain level, then you've got all the star player points you need anyway. In tournaments, Beau and the Bretonians is great. So players leaving the pitch still. So it's just a hit a turn, and then moving up a square. I wonder what red can do about this at all, apart from just the hitting. So one option I suppose would be to engage at some point, but that could be quite risky. Still just holding back. It'll be interesting to see if he does engage at some point. Okay, so blue've got a cage in there now. So is he gonna try and knock this one down? So he hasn't knocked him down, but he's not going to try and score with him, I don't think. But that's serious progress, right? So what happened there that meant that blue could make quite so much progress? So red's turn, and he fails to knock that chap down, but having failed to knock him down, what does he do then? So he just stops his turn completely. Those players there, and just a big available sort of gap over here with this person able to be blitzed and this one able to then knock this fella. So what could he have done differently at that stage is the question. So this one was down on the floor. Would it have made more sense to engage here potentially. Could he have stopped him coming around? So this player was on the floor. So he could have brought him in, but then they could have gone around that way, but then he would have been away from here. So being able to move towards his blitzer was an absolute bonus. But being able to blitz this player straight away made it a lot easier. So bringing a player into there and bringing this catcher around to here would have secured things up a bit better, I think. Because now he completely dominates this side of the pitch, aided obviously by a player leaving off there, and then the two players, nothing you can do about that, but it's unfortunate to get hit. Okay, so you've got plenty of players in the way there, but he's only got a strength 2 catcher. He's got sidestep, but there's tackle somewhere. Tackle. So fairly high likelihood of this player going down, and then Bo can just run it in, which is always a danger anyway. So there would have been the option to engage at some point, but it was just that one turn where he failed to knock him down because he got both down, and yeah, so it goes in for the draw there. Interesting. So I don't think there's a 1 turn option on this one. No, just punching. So yeah, it's an interesting game, that one.